So Mari, seeing that we were sitting together talking about eating out, I was wondering if you might be able to help me plan Money Matters as well.
Oh, absolutely, the week after.
Okay,
yeah.
I just thought there's such different topics, and I just wanted to pick your brain about how you might,
Definitely.
plan them. Okay.
No worries. What did you think when you saw the topic Money Matters?
Okay, I suppose my only concern with Money Matters would be I'm concerned that it might not resonate with everybody, and I'm looking for a way for every member to leave their meeting with value, with information that they can use.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point you've touched on, is that sometimes we have topics that don't apply to everybody in the room. So if we're talking alcohol, you don't want people to walk in and go, oh, I don't drink, I'm not staying, it's not worth it for me.
Yes, okay.
So you've got to find a way of making it all-inclusive for everybody.
Absolutely.
And as you said, there may be people where money doesn't matter because they have so much of it.
Well, good for them.
Good for them, yeah. But what you may be able to do in a situation like this is just have one question that resonates with everybody. So something as simple as, put your hand up if you believe that eating healthy costs more than eating whatever you like.
Because most people would probably agree with that.
Absolutely,
okay.
yeah. And once you've got everybody's attention, then maybe once you start to talk through the meeting, then what you're actually talking about will resonate with different people, because we're covering all sorts of things.
Absolutely.
We're covering things like, yes, it may cost you a little bit more. We're also covering things about, the fact that on an average Australian household, there's $1,036 that's just thrown down the bin.
And I suppose that wouldn't matter if you, well off or are struggling a little bit. Money saved is always good for everybody. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the other thing I was going to say, Michelle, is if it's going to be a meeting where the actual activity, is going to take a little bit longer.
Yes, and I think this one seems like it might, right?
It might, absolutely. Yeah. So something you might like to do is, if you're aware that the activity will take longer, then something like starting with a really, short, sharp and punchy kind of line,
so
like
high impact
question.
Yes.
And you get the whole room going, yes, that's all you need.
Okay.
And you can move straight into.
So you don't necessarily need to have the anecdote to start with.
Or the story. Not at all.
You can switch it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. There's a benefit to doing that. So it's not always the same thing every week.
That's true.
You want to make each meeting a little bit different.
That's right.
And keep members interested.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
When it comes to the activity, obviously always look at what they've suggested, but you need to, again, have a look at, will that work with my meeting?
See, that was one of my concerns, because I think I touched on, I do have a small meeting and a larger meeting, so I would want the activity to work with both groups, or if it doesn't, is it okay that I don't use it?
Absolutely. Okay. You may have a completely different idea that fits in with the meeting objective, which we said last week was really important to make sure you cover the objective, where you feel your members would get a lot out of it.
Okay.
As long as they do, that is the main thing.
So as long as they leave with the experience and the objectives, whether we use that particular activity or do something else, that's the main thing.
Exactly right.
Great.
And the thing that you want is for people to walk out thinking that was great value for money. I got so much out of it, and I'm dying to come back next week.
Okay, wonderful.
Right, so that's the main things you're actually looking for.
Yep, absolutely. That makes sense. Absolutely.
And look, sometimes there are activities which you'll look at and go, I don't need to change a word. It is brilliant. I know exactly what I want to do.
Yes.
They may have, for example, this one has 6 different groups. You may think I only need 3 in my
right.
meeting.
Yes. So adapt it to suit. Okay, great.
Absolutely.
I think might be a roadblock for me. Sometimes I think, well, this isn't going to work. Well, instead of tweaking it, I just get rid of it. So there is ways that you can adapt it to suit
cut it down,
okay.
switch it slightly, think about your members. You might have to change what it actually says so that members in your group are going to go, I get that.
Right.
So that's really important, that you always make sure that it's going to be all-inclusive to everybody. So if we're talking about Christmas coming up and how there's so much food and lots of family to get together with, you may have a member sitting in your room that has no family, and she's on her own, and she's going to just be having her normal day's lunch like every other day.
Okay.
Or someone that isn't particularly religious, that even celebrates Christmas in that way.
Yep.
So make sure it's something that links everybody in, so that every person in the room feels like they're getting something out of what you're talking about. Be
mindful of the different people that make up your meeting. Okay, so seeing that we didn't start with an anecdote or anything like that, would you incorporate that throughout the meeting at some point?
Only if you wanted to.
Right.
With this one in particular, I was going to make the make it obvious to me that I always thought, yes, it was more expensive to eat healthy, but what I'm going to finish off with is I'm going to have a whole bag of things that are hidden, and then I'm going to bring out the fact that I always thought it was much cheaper to, be able to eat whatever I want and not worry about the good cuts of meat and buying fresh vegetables and all that. But I forgot about the fact that when I wasn't watching when I was eating, I used to have lots of junk that I never really counted.
So you would buy that incidentally here or there.
Absolutely.
And that would add up to a fair bit of
Exactly
money.
right.
So really, you probably may even be saving money by eating
Yeah, and that's
healthy.
what I'll do. I'll probably pull out those sort of things and talk about me pre-Weight Watchers,
Right.
and I'll pull out the chocolate from the petrol station when I fill it up with petrol.
Right.
And you know, the fact that I'd always buy something to eat with my cup of coffee, whereas now I just buy my cup of coffee.
Okay.
And so that might be a good way for people to really
tie
bring
in.
back what you've started off with,
Awesome.
and maybe ask the question again that you started asking.
Okay.
And now who still thinks
Oh,
that
wonderful.
eating healthy is more expensive?
I love that in that you start with the question and end with the question, and
see how
during
it's
that meeting they should have had a change of mindset.
Change your mind.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
how's
so
that
good.
sound?
That's amazing.
Good?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Thank you.
No problem at all.